That did actually happen last night. Oh, hang on. He gets the ump when he's the wrong side.
One quick question.
Far away.
Before the Julian Dix penalty.
Before the
Yeah.
Julian Dix penalty. Okay.
That's the David Speedy goal that I think clinches us promotion. No.
No. It was Clive Allen that scored the second goal.
The Clive Allen got, yeah, but that is the promotion game, isn't it?
Yep.
When everyone,
Cambridge United, where and everybody just piled onto the pitch.
Everyone piled onto the pitch. Yeah, I was there looking at that, going, I know that game. That game.
Yeah,
and also the commentary, for or after the goal that Colton Cole scores in the playoff final.
Yeah,
is the commentator goes. They were talking about. He promised the manager 20 goals for the season.
Right.
At the start of the season, he promised him 20 goals. That was his 20th goal of the 20th league goal of the season, as such. And I remember that because it made me laugh because he goes goal number 20, goal 20 check. And some good memories there again. Steve Potts, all the rest. I love that kit as well.
And did you notice an addition I made to it that wasn't in there the previous time I got out the big gun?
No, go on. What one?
Di Canio's goal.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't in the previous one.
That
I've managed to sort of whittle down other clips and just opened up enough space to plop that in.
Drop it in.
Yeah. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got Mitch. How you doing? He's going yama. Can't even get the words out. I'm still struggling. Yeah.
Yeah, makes two of us, mate.
Neil, South Australia, 3:32 on a Saturday morning, but he sounds like he's in good voice. Neil and Mitch are saying hello to one another. Hammerhead's there as well. I haven't You'll have to forgive me. Since the I was involved in the live chat on the premiere of the match day vlog from yesterday, and Hammerhead made a request at the very end, and unfortunately I haven't seriously had the time since because I've been trying to sort of prep a lot of things for this and the social media side and all the rest of it. I just didn't have time, mate. I do apologise, but I might look into doing that a little bit down the track perhaps, but bear with us. Before we get into that, I've got a little bit of housekeeping. We got to do the usual thing and say, please don't forget to like, comment on and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your support. Okay, Duke. 1-0 down at the beginning of the night last night against the team that have won this competition more any other team in its history. This competition, excuse me, the Europa League, now formerly the UEFA Cup, I believe has been going since 71, 72. So there's an awful lot of history behind it. And no team has won it more than Sevilla. And we had a hell of a task on our hands. And it went all the way to extra time. But we got our noses over the line. 2-0 on the night. 2-1 on aggregate. I'm still struggling to believe what we've done.
I've watched it back, probably about the highlights show from last night, directly after the game. Because you've got to bear in mind it was Paddy's Day yesterday, and obviously we had a live band in the pub, as I said to you the other day, so kind of made it very difficult for me to try and watch as well as deal with what I weren't working, but it was, very busy trying to find the space in the pub and everything else. So what was a surprise for me was my mum came and joined me for the game, which was quite cool. She came down to watch it. Just want to quickly jump off of topic. What did catch my eye last night? Obviously, I've got 6 TVs. You've been to my pub. Got the 2 above the bar. One had the West Ham game on, which I was watching, and the other one had the Everton Newcastle game on. And that dappy prick that cable tied himself to the goalpost.
Cable tied himself to the goalpost.
He wrapped a cable tie around his neck, Rob. Wrapped it round the goalpost and cable tied himself by his neck to the goalpost, not just with a normal black. This was with a industrial orange cable tie that it took them. The game was delayed by, I think it was 15 minutes. They had to stop the game. Personally, I would have left him standing there and taken pot shots at him. You know, like the old crossbar challenge that they used to do on Sky Sports. I would have done post challenge and taken penalties and see if he could hit him. I would have left him there and just taken penalty kicks at him and see how many times we could hit him. Yeah, I just want to bring that up because I found it absolutely just. I don't understand the way people think sometimes. But no, last night, mate. Yeah, my mum came down. I watched it. Like I say, I watched it. I've watched it about 5 or 6 times, the highlights and stuff. Wow, just wow.
All I've got as well, pretty much.
To a man, they were just heroes last night. They for me, they put themselves in hero status last night. They're not going to quite reach legendary status unless they take the whole thing. But to a man, last night they were brilliant, and the fact that Mr. Moyes played some significant mind games. Now, listen, I don't believe David Moyes deliberately goes out of his way normally during Premier League games and conferences to play the mind games. I really don't think he does. The build up to this game showed me that he has that in his locker. He did it with the whole Cresswell and Antonio thing. The whole Cresswell and Antonio thing, will they, won't they, will they, won't they, maybe they will, sleight of hand, then there they were. I wasn't expecting to see their names come up on the team
sheet.
I
certainly wasn't expecting Antonio, because I can probably reveal it now. When we did the pre-match and I sort of said there was a bit of information that I had, and this was via a source who I'm still going to keep that to myself. But the source was told via the club that Mikel Antonio was out for 4 to 6 weeks.
I mean, you told me that. My concern is, have they got the name wrong?
Lucas, how do you mean?
Well, it's not Antonio, then who's still missing?
Don't know.
Jared Bowen.
Well,
we're going to be missing Bowen for 4 to 6 weeks. Listen, if we're missing Bowen for 4 to 6 weeks, that makes the tie against Leon, especially the first leg, significantly harder.
Does it though? On what we did yesterday?
It does. It does. I think if we have Bowen in the side, if we'd had Bowen in the side last night, mate, I have a feeling that those goals would have come earlier and we could have done that in 90 minutes. And that's no disrespect to the team that are out there and that were out there. I thought every player out there was outstanding. I have to say, I'm going to bring it up. I was surprised to see Benny go off. I thought he had a good game last night. I really did. I just think, just a different option. I know probably I probably would have taken someone else out of the equation going into extra time. One of the two players that have been injured.
Yeah.
But that being said, I thought he had a good game. I think Fornals needs to work on his chanting a little bit. I'm not quite sure if you've seen that video.
I have.
I have to say, I felt when I saw the picture and the video, them sweetie teeth that you can get.
Yeah, he does seem to have a little bit of a prominent overbite, doesn't he?
He seems like he's got more teeth in that mouth than Shergar. You know what I mean? I was like, what? And they're very white. Yeah. But no, mate.
Eat an apple through a tennis racket, as they say.
To a man yesterday, the boys were brilliant. The crowd. Now, I had the first, probably the first half hour on speakers, like I say, before my band started. And I have to say, the crowd were phenomenal last night. I've seen some stuff on Facebook. I know you were there with the wee bands. And I know Happy
one of them taller than me now, so not that wee.
Happy was there. Gio and Gonzo were quite clearly there. If you haven't seen Gio's,
we was at the boats. We saw them.
Yeah. No, I was to say, if you haven't seen Gio's video from the end of the night, please see over at Hammer's chat. Please go check out that video because I was crying last night.
Can I let you in on a little secret? Because I don't think you'd know this because you're not a Patreon on Hammer's chat, are you?
I'm not an addict, but I am on
right.
the Patreon, yeah.
Well, they did the player ratings this morning.
Oh right, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Was he hanging out of his arsehole?
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. His dad had to do it, and do you know why? He was that obliterated that he doesn't remember the match.
I'm not surprised. I mean, the video, watching him trying to bite his ear, watching him trying to bite Gonzo's ear. What?
Mate, honestly,
it was amazing.
He went because he was on the stream with Gio at the very sort of like beginning, first couple of minutes, looking like death warmed up, and then his dad took over and he did the player ratings with Gio, but he had no recollection of beyond a certain point last night. He when he was told about the post-match review that they did straight after the final whistle and when the crowd dispersed, it was news to him. He literally had no idea. He had no recollection of it whatsoever.
No, I think
I sent him a WhatsApp message a little bit afterwards, and I just 3 words: suffering, are we?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, if I'm honest with you. I mean, listen, I love those boys to pieces. I think they're a cracking pair. You know, something that only you and I could hopefully go on to emulate at some point. But the pair of them are amazing, and deservedly so. But no, last night, mate. Again, going back to the game, I woke up yesterday morning, and obviously
just before you do, can I just address this question from Mitch? Can anyone go on the boats, or is it ticket only? Okay, me and my kids have got a season ticket. If you don't have a season ticket, then normally it's been you pay a £5 and on you go. The last couple of times they've had a bucket and just said donate some change for the food banks. So if you put a £5 in, if you put a couple of quid in or whatever. But as I say, that's been the last couple of times. They might change it back to a £5. What I would do, Mitch, if you're thinking of coming down there, and I would thoroughly recommend it, it's a good crack, is just bring obviously a £5 note with you to get onto the jetty. And if it's a fee or if it's a donation, either way, whatever, winner chicken dinner. As far as the boats are concerned, they've got fully stocked bars on. They said it will sell beer, spirits. They sell Guinness, soft drinks, and they got like a barbecue bit down at the end of the jetty where they'll do burgers.
For the burgers.
Oh, mate, the burgers are a £5, which you go, oh, bloody hell. But honestly, they're proper thick meat, not sort of like a little biscuit of meat. It's a proper thick wedge. Nice roll, onions. You know it with cheese, without cheese. It's a £5 done.
It's banging.
Thoroughly recommend it.
Absolutely banging. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yep. Right. That was the team, Duke, that took to the pitch. Let's touch on this before we go too much further. So when you saw that as the lineup, what were your initial thoughts? Well, I mean, I think we did it in the pre-match, didn't we? Where I think that was the goalkeeper in the back four I got spot on. The midfield 3 I got spot on. It was the front 3 that I didn't see taking that shape. What about yourself?
Well, I mean, like I said, I saw that. I saw that come out, Rob, and my anticipation ramped up about 20 or 30 notches, and I was already here, and it just went through the roof after I saw that. I mean, I was confident in the pre-match. When we did the pre-match for this, I was confident. Get out, and get going. Rah. Peach. And I saw, like I say, I went to bed excited, like it was Christmas Eve.
That's
like, oh
normal.
my God. Woke up the next morning, you got you and I in the chat, the rest of the gang, and it just became all consuming, didn't it? And you know this,
James.
you know this. It became all consuming throughout the day. As the day wore on, I just become a bundle of energy. Like, it needs to go now. It needs to go now. This came up, and I went through the roof because having Cresswell and Antonio there was huge for me. Now, as I said to you in the pre-match, I felt that if Cresswell played, that Benrahma and Fornals would need to do the switcheroo because obviously Johnson playing left back with Benny in front of him works, in my opinion, the same way that Fornals and Cresswell work. Yeah. So I thought they'd do the switch. Didn't have to last night. Benny was on his game. He tracked the right back whenever they tried to do the overlap down that side. He backed Cresswell up. And I have to say, it's probably not the first time it's happened, but it's definitely the first time that I've seen him do it. And he was, yes, what we said. And then Benrahma took that task, and I'm hoping now, because of that and because of what he showed, that he's now given that opportunity to do that more often. I'm not being funny. We've come up against a side that have won this competition 6 times. They were probably joint favourites for Barcelona going into last night. Let's not mess around to win the whole kit and caboodle. So, Benny did the tracking back. I was really impressed with him last night. He didn't just it wasn't just the fancy stuff. He got stuck in. There was nothing that really stood out that for me where, he kind of pulled out of challenges or anything like that I've been critical of him before. Last night, brilliant, absolutely brilliant tracked. They shackled their men to literally. I can remember 3 opportunities. I think maybe. I think there was the save.
Well, I was going to mention the save because that was
the saving and the 2 that they blasted over. One from the pullback, and then I think it was El Nesri pulled it back, and then
blasted it over.
Then there was the El Nesri one that he put over just before it. That and obviously the save, which we'll cover more in depth. That's all they had, Rob. They didn't really have much else. No. And I think that's because we shackled them to a man. Each individual performance of that's your man, don't let him do anything. When we didn't have the ball, they didn't do nothing.
No, fair. This was the team that Julen Lopetegui put out for Seville. Made a couple of changes from the first leg. Notable additions being, again, we touched on this in the pre-match, that we thought Rakitic and Delaney would be incoming, and so it proved. And Martial was there, who obviously, up to this point, had a pretty decent record scoring against us. Obviously for Manchester United, not for Seville, but of course, he must have been seeing West Ham in front of him, knowing that he's got a good record. He must have thought, happy days.
He must have been
didn't quite turn out the way he wanted, though.
No. I'll tell you what, I was very surprised. Was seeing the U2 lead singer starting goal. I was very surprised by this.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be pushing 60 now, isn't he?
He didn't do too bad. He couldn't do. I mean, good save on the build-up to the second goal. I mean, he got down well to it, but it was a case of with or without you. Sorry, that's the only one. It's the only one.
You sure?
No.
You still haven't found what you're looking for?
No, I haven't. No. See, you had to, didn't you? But no, I saw that, and a few people, on the social media sites and stuff, were talking about Rakitic. We're talking about Delaney. I mean, Delaney's no mug. He's a good player. He's a good player. Joe Jordan out there on the right. I mean, He's a bit, they had a couple of oldies out there yesterday.
Take his teeth out.
And I have to say, right, Mitch, this is right. I've got this on big screen. Okay, I've got this on big screen, so I haven't got the comments coming down the side like I normally would. So I'm only seeing comments, Rob, as you put them up.
Oh, okay,
and
fair enough.
Literally, as you just click this, is exactly what I was about to bring up.
I'm psychic. What can I say?
Mate, he must be he must be kicking himself right now. He must be kicking himself. But
he'd probably miss.
On the flip side to that, I weren't impressed with him at all. Not in the slightest. And I was literally about to say that. He, honestly, so poor considering we were going to pay what 45. Was it in that region or
Something
so
like
and so
that.
forth, wasn't it? Not impressed in the slightest. No way. There's no one there. There's no one in that side for me yesterday that I go and drop into our team. I know we were after Martial for a bit, and I've got a lot of time for Ivan Rakitic, but I'll be honest with you. Last night,
Martial or Benrahma.
On last night's performance, Benny. For me, I think he, like I say, did a bit of the grunt work, which is what we've always praised Fornals for, and said that Benrahma needs to do a bit more of. And I know there are people in the chat that do say that that's not part of Benrahma's game, and I brought it up the other day, saying, you know what, well, maybe he needs to learn a little bit.
Yep.
Fornals did. Fornals learned to do the grunt work, to do a lot more of the donkey work, if you will, and look at him now. He's coming up with some really impressive performances, and it's not just about what he does with the ball; it's what he does off the ball really well as well. And Benny last night for me was in that grouping. Did some good stuff with the ball, but what he did off the ball, was just as important.
Yeah. that there's the benches.
Two keepers again.
Two
Rob.
goalkeepers. Yeah. It does seem a little bit
frustrating, isn't it?
Really, what's the point? But obviously, lurking it on the bench was the hero from Sunday. A certain Mr. Andrei Yarmolenko, the club captain, obviously Mark Noble, amongst many others. That's always the area that I think where I look at and think, with all due respect to the players that occupy a lot of those positions, you're there not quite as strong as I'd like to be. And I'll tell you what, because he's here. I'm just going to mention Walshy. I am so gutted to hear that he got COVID. He had tickets for the match, and he got diagnosed COVID positive. Bless him. Walshy, I am so sorry that happened to you, mate. That is real crap luck.
But grab your tickets for the Lyon game, mate, and get.
They're already on sale.
Yeah, grab them. Fuck it. Because I
think
tell you what,
Tuesday, I believe, 11 a.m. is the deadline for season ticket holders. So get stuck in.
I'm telling you now, right? That's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more of the same. I really do think that we're going to be we're going to be mate. Oh, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But let's talk about this game. Let's go talk about the first half, Rob. Bring it on.
Okay, so if we, I'll tell you, probably the big talking point of the first half I want to talk about, because it was pivotal in my view to the match.
Huge.
Was Alphonse Areola, who pulled off a save from, I think that was from En-Nesyri, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Because that was that at 1-0. Was that at 1-0 or 1-1?
No, it was a 0-0.
0-0, sorry.
1-1,
0-0. Honestly, I'm still all over the place. I've had to go to work today, and I'm like, wow. That save from Areola. The ball was was going from the Seville left across in the penalty box. Areola's moving in the same direction as the ball. He's moving from his right to left. The ball comes to En-Nesyri, and he strikes it powerfully enough. It has to be said. It was travelling, and Areola has had to go back the way he's come from, which, if you've ever played in goal, that's one of the most difficult saves to make. That's why a striker is always told, go across the goalkeeper, because it's a difficult save for the goalkeeper to pull off. You know, you're moving from right to left and you put the ball back where they've come from. They've then got to sort of like, change direction. He pulled off and strong hands as well, strong wrists. Welcome to Lewisham, ladies and gentlemen. Friday on a Lewisham, yeah. The biggest police station in Europe, isn't it? You're right next door to, more or less.
Just over that way.
Yeah.
Just over there. What a save, Rob.
Great save. Great save.
What a save. I mean, you said it yourself, pivotal.
They score, they're 2-0 up on aggregate.
Yeah, and that takes the wind out of the sails. It takes the wind out of the fans. I've watched that save over and over and over again, and I am blown away by not just his reactions, but the quality of that save. I mean, you've seen some of them in your. I'll tell you what, Rob, in your intro video, okay, the one you just put together. There's proof just how difficult keeping a strong hand is, and the proof is in your video, and it's the last goal that was scored at Upton Park. Yeah. Is the header from Reed and De Gea with his cardboard wrists, but it just goes to show just how hard that is. The fact that, Rob, do you want to say that one? I don't know.
I would suggest, and I haven't looked on the website yet, but as I say, I've been told that season ticket holders have got until, I believe, 11 a.m. on Tuesday. I would suggest that it would be probably 11:01 or thereabouts. The club will go off, out they go.
Over it.
But I'll say, go on to WHUFC.com for that, Mitch, and have a little look. But I wish you good luck, my friend.
I'm definitely going to be trying to get tickets for that. Don't you worry. No, like I say, I've watched it so many times, and the fact that he keeps that hand strong, the fact that he deflects, it kind of hits his palm, which makes that save even better, considering it's just a reaction. He's kind of going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Sticks his hand out, tries to throw himself back, and it's phenomenal. Like, it is. If you've got a draw system, that's in the top. That's a top draw save. Like, we were talking about key saves and stuff. The Gordon Banks one.
Yeah.
That is a great save. The Gordon Banks one is legendary. But
the one from Pele, not the one from Jeff Hurst that we were talking about.
That is a huge save. Like, that is big. Like, my God, I cannot emphasize just how important that man's big right hand was last night to make that save. Like, dear God. And great work by Martial down that wing as well, with the back heel that pretty much took two players out of the game.
Probably the one decent thing he did all night, wasn't it?
To be fair, I think it was. I mean, he got taken off, and I'll be honest with you, I looked up and went, "Oh, he's still on the pitch, is he? All right, well, he ain't no more. Off you go, son." Woo! And it was, and I did say, I was talking to people downstairs. I said, we need a goal before half time. We need a goal before half time. Was that Walsh's question?
Should we sign him permanently? I guess you're talking about Anthony Martial, are you?
No, I think he's talking about Areola.
Oh, Areola. I've been told that the sticking point with him is basically his wages, because he's on a fair chunk of change.
Pay and play. Bonuses. I've said this numerous times. Make it bonuses. For me, yes, because that save last night is worth the 12 to 14 million pound. Would have to sign him, have to pay to sign him. So for me, that save last night is worth it. It's worth it. Go get him. Go get him. I know there was some comments, and I've seen some comments banding around on Facebook, and they were involved in a conversation that we had offline with someone on Wednesday night, Rob. You know, someone who would prefer Johnston over Areola. And it's been that save last night is currently being used as a beating stick, just because someone prefers one player over another.
You can always find something that supports or
we've already had that.
Your argument, you know.
We've already had that with other people. With my thoughts on Ben Rama, we've already had this. You know, we've already dealt with that shit. So it's always going to happen. But it's just I think. Listen, he's a quality keeper, and we said this last season. Coming towards the end of last season, we were talking about bringing in a new keeper. I think to a man near enough, every West Ham fan said, the guy out of Fulham, the one that's on loan, go get him. Yep. We all said it. We got him. I feel he's been underutilised at times this season. I'd love to have seen him a bit more in the league, but that's the way Moyes wants to play it. Then let Moyes play it that way. That's entirely up to him.
Do you think that Moyes was expecting either a dip off in Fabianski's performances or maybe an injury here and there? Because he has been a little bit injury prone in previous seasons or two.
Normally gets injured kicking the ball.
Yeah.
In the warm-up to games, if I remember rightly. No, listen, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. At the end of the day, I still think we should go out and get him. It doesn't matter to me whether he was, whether Fabianski's been injury prone, whether, we were expecting that dip in form because of, the age that he's coming to. That's just it is what it is. Now, listen, it didn't happen. He's our cup goalkeeper. I look like I've got a big shadow behind my head. Look at that. Now I put that light on. Look at it. I look like that Dead Mal 5 or whatever it is. No, I'd sign him personally. I would sign him. Yeah. Let's talk about the goal. The opening goal.
Well, the goal was
coming, wasn't it?
Well, it was a cross from Antonio. He left foot. Yeah, I was about to say he dug it out with his left foot. And I got to be honest with you, from my vantage point, as I've seen the ball coming over, and I could see where Souček was. And obviously, we know that normally in the air, Souček's actually pretty decent. But obviously, this season, his scoring record has not been where it was last season. I think that's fair to say. It's not a criticism; it's a fact. But as that ball comes over and Souček moves in on it, from where I was sitting, time just all of a sudden seemed to just sort of slow down this little bit. And he'd go even slower once he made contact with the ball. It just sort of seemed to be really slow before it eventually hit the back of the net, sort of thing, But it was sort of like it was a sort of like a semi-looping header, wasn't it? And completely took the goalkeeper out of the picture. He put it exactly where he wanted to put it. And I don't think he did. Honestly, if that you don't think so?
No, I think it came off the bandage. I think the bandage helped.
Oh, okay.
I think listen, if he made connection, right? That man, I heard a beep.
Yeah, I did as well.
I don't know because I'm not looking. I can't see.
I can see exactly who it is. Sit tight. Sit tight, special guest.
Is that another one?
Yeah.
Was that two beeps?
No. Just
one beep.
Just one.
No, going by what you were saying, he's not been so as good this year as last year. So I reckon if he'd made the connection or if he didn't have the bandage on, it's going over the bar. As it was, he's got the bandage on. It takes a lot of the sting out of the ball because it's a bit of a spongy one. But what a goal and total props. to Antonio. For those of you who haven't watched Clips' alternative commentary on last night's game, it's a thread of 3 videos. You need to watch it because Clips in the commentary turns around and says, "Please don't go out wide. Please don't go out wide. I'd rather see you shoot before you go back out wide." And obviously then Antonio goes out wide. And I'll be honest with you, I was thinking the same thing. As I was watching Antonio with the ball, I'm going, "Please don't go out wide. Where are you? What are you doing? Oh, great cross, you know." But the celebrations, the fans, the way the players went, you could see what it meant to Souček to score that goal. You know, it was amazing, Rob. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think it's a bloody good job that stadium was constructed so well, because I seriously think the noise, the energy that was created when that ball nestled in the back of the net could have quite easily blew that roof off on that stadium. I'm just going to check with mystery guest sitting in the green room. Are you ready? Right. Okay. I'm going to bring mystery guest in. Mystery guest.
Bunch!
Good evening, gentlemen.
Bunchy!
How are we, boys? All right?
Mate,
Buzzing.
honestly.
Buzzing.
Oh, mate. Listen, before we kick off, not many people that watch your stream will know this, but you two guys are legends. All right?
Oh, behave yourself.
No, come on. Come on. Yesterday, you touched me. Right? No, I'm not talking about...
Not like that.
No, I'm not talking about... No. Emotionally, you reached out to me and you touched me. Boys, thank you. I love you forever for that. Thank you.
No problem, mate. You know that.
And well, I'm still buzzing like a nun's pocket, mate. I swear to God. Oh, all day long. I mean, I'm supposed to have been working all day. I went on no, not Gatey. Sorry, that's you. I went on Miles's show at 9 o'clock this morning. And because I was working with machinery and all that, he's like, "You're too noisy. I'm going to have to put you on mute." So, but I was just buzzing all day long. And every time my brother said something to me, I was like, "Sorry, what was that? I was thinking about last night's game. Sorry, what was that?" Every minute of the day I have been, honestly, it's been brilliant.
May I just give someone a shout out, actually, Budge?
Please do.
Was it your brother's birthday today?
It certainly is. Yes,
Happy birthday. What's his name?
His name's Kevin, but we all know him as Treacle. Everybody knows him as
I
Treacle.
actually thought that was a typo. I actually thought you meant to write Trevor. So I was going to say happy birthday to Trevor. I'm glad I didn't now. So happy birthday to your brother, actually.
Thank you.
You can't leave that there. Right. Well, how do we get from Kevin to Treacle?
Okay, so my surname is Tree Living.
Yep.
And at school, my nickname was Trill because it was kind of like a play on words with tree living. You know, budgies live in trees and birds eat bird seed and Trill is a bird seed. And anyway, so that's how that got. And obviously, Happy Hammerette and Beanie have reversed that process and gone back to the budging thing, which is why I am who I am. But my brother, on the other hand, he was from a slightly different generation, if you like. He's 8 years older than me, so his mates were all, you know, proper London lads that have been moved down here. My brother was born in London, in the East End of London, actually.
Reece.
You know, good evening, Reece. So, you know, like treacle is quite a common phrase around the East End, as you boys be well aware. Anybody that knows anything about the East End will know that
normally
anybody and everybody can be treacle.
To a female, though, isn't it? Normally.
I get it. But, you know, back in the 70s and late 60s when my brother was at school, it was a common phrase. And as I said, you know, like early 50s, early to mid 50s, my parents moved down to Crawley, And, you know, that phrase was battered around a little bit. And then all of a sudden, because my brother's surname, True Living, was a very difficult name for a lot of people to say, they were just got shortened to Treacle. And yeah, that's him.
That was that.
And my
the name's
son's also nicknamed Treacle as well, but they spell it differently. However, I mean,
How
my
can
brother
you spell
spells
treacle
it
differently?
well. My brother spells it the traditional way, Treacle.
Yeah.
And my son, because he didn't want to clash with his uncle, his favourite uncle, no, you know, I need to add, he didn't want to clash with him too much. So he said, oh, I'm going to spell it Trekal. So it kind of a play on words, you know. My daughter loved it though. She keeps tree cow. She calls him. So, yeah,
love it.
She's a little minx, my daughter, but I love it a bit, you know. I'm buzzing.
Yeah,
I'm still buzzing, boys.
Yeah, mate, it's ridiculous, isn't it? And then, like, I went out for lunch this afternoon, Rob.
Oh, hello, McDonald's.
No,
it's a kebab shop opposite the pub.
We walked up the Wetherspoons, and
hang on. You went to another pub?
Yeah. We don't do food, do we?
No, that's true.
And I have to say,
good for you, son.
I have to say, it is one of the, it is the most lack of atmosphere place that I've ever been to in my life.
It's like going to the Emirates.
Oh, or to Anfield after You Never Walk Alone finished. It was horrible. It was horrible. I just sat there. I was like, "What is this shit?" Like there was nothing. Not even people were talking. It was a fucking library. It was horrible. But I took my phone and I had it up on the table and I watched the draw this morning, much to the chagrin of everyone else in the pub because I had the sound up. Go on, get the back up and listen to it.
How dare you?
Bollocks to them. That's where I was. Give the pub some atmosphere. And when our name came out, I was like, ooh, home tight.
You know,
home tight.
I missed all the notifications. I looked on my phone. Do you remember in the group chat, I said, who did we get?
Yeah, and then,
I didn't know.
Yeah,
and that was about 3 hours after the draw, though. You know what I mean? That was about 2:30 this afternoon, 3 o'clock. And because I'd missed all the notifications, because I'm working with like noisy, like digger and dumper and all that nonsense, I missed it all. And then, like when you told me we had Leon, I was like, yeah, brilliant. And then I got a message through from, actually, it was from Hammeret's dad, and he said, Barcelona, we're coming for you with loads of hammers. And I went, but we've got Leon. I haven't heard anything back from him.
Oh, no.
I just hope he's all right, you know.
Well,
Hammer,
it's not that,
if you're watching this, check on your dad.
Listen, he's right in what he says because obviously they're on our half of the draw, aren't they? So if we could get them in semi. Leon, we could. I'll tell you what, we get Barcelona, I get a semi.
Well, we've got them in the semi, haven't we? That's definite. If we get Leon.
Not if Dortmund have their way about it.
No, it's not Dortmund, is it? It's Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Yeah. I knew they were the crowd.
That was the game I wanted. Yeah, that was the game I wanted. Was the Frankfurt game.
In a way,
really,
that'd be quite good because it'd sort of like be 1976 all over again because that was the game that everybody that was there says, you know, you want an atmosphere. That was an atmosphere.
Show them this one. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So does that mean that there's a distinct possibility, but a slim chance of us having Rangers in the final then?
That's exactly what it means.
Braga, Rangers, Atalanta and Leipzig.
Atalanta, Leipzig. So the way, if I'm honest, the way I look at that half of the draw, and we'll cover the second half in a minute and extra time.
Yeah.
The way I look at that draw is I think the Atalanta game is going to be a very difficult one. I do. I have 6. No. The Atalanta game is going to be a very difficult one to call. Atalanta, I do believe, were they the highest scoring Serie A side last season. They scored the most
Yeah,
goals.
but didn't we beat them in the Betway
beat 'em
Cup in the final?
To be fair, what do you mean in the final, Budge? It's not like we played 6 games to get there, mate. Sort your shit out.
Listen, they wanted to win that.
Oi, I'm buzzing. I want to talk finals. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about a semi earlier.
Oh, yeah. I've got one.
Let's get a blue pill, get a full one. Yeah, what was I? Yeah, the Atalanta game would be quite difficult to call, I feel, against Leipzig. Leipzig are a very, very good side. And you've got to think they played one game less to get to this point. You know, they're a good side. You know, this is the side where Haaland came from. Haaland went from Salzburg to Leipzig to Dortmund. No, we won't. Now, Rangers Braga, if I was in Rangers' shoes, I'd feel incredibly confident going into that game. I'd feel incredibly confident of a semi-final against one of those two. And then once you get to the semi-final, boys, it's all on the table, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's all there. You know, I know.
It's anyone's game then, isn't it? Really,
I know we would have preferred Barcelona in the final, and the way I was looking at it, I was kind of thinking, well, I thought the first 4 teams out of the hat were going to be the ones for the semi-final, which meant that we wouldn't have had to worry about facing Barca until the final. But you know what? Someone said it I think one of you boys actually said it. Against I think it was you. The fact that Barcelona are currently below Seville in the league by X amount of points.
Yes, exactly
So why would we? And let's be honest, right? We've beaten, you said it, Rob, we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten City, we've beaten Chelsea, we've beaten we've beaten City, Liverpool. Yeah, exactly. Barcelona fans don't want us. Barcelona fans are, and this sounds really stupid. This sounds really stupid. A lot of Barcelona fans on Twitter and Facebook that obviously I'm seeing the screenshots of, they're running scared of us at the minute, Rob. I don't think there was anything.
If you saw the match vlog, which I don't know if you've had a chance to see
I haven't yet, no.
Right at the end, I do a little piece where I'm talking into my phone and I make the point, the other 7 teams will not want to face us. And I'm not saying that I take them for granted. I'm not saying that, you know, give us the trophy now. That's not what I'm saying. But none of them, let's be completely honest. Of the 8 teams that you look at right now, the other 7 teams would all be saying, give us Braga. Let's be completely honest about it.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Braga, maybe Rangers.
Well, I said Braga, Frankfurt or Lyon. In that order would have been, if I had to handpick in that order, Braga first, Frankfurt second, Lyon third. Out of the 3, I would have, you know, least liked to have faced Lyon. But those are the 3 that I really did want. I wanted to save Rangers or, you know, and Barca for the semi-final and final, which it's the other way round, but we get our wish, right? You know, we wanted Barcelona in the final more than anything else. But you know what? I'll take Rangers in the final. Fuck it. Because I tell you what, we're massive. We are massive.
Can you imagine that? Sort of half of London, well, not half of London, but half of Glasgow and I don't know how much, well, a massive part of London and Essex. And Kent, because let me tell you something. Obviously, I live in Dartford.
There's a few in Kent.
Oh, mate, you go to Ebbsfleet International on a match day. Bloody hell.
There's hundreds, isn't there? There are hundreds.
You'd be surprised how many I see. I'm in Crawley. Okay. Every time I travel up on the train, I get there for about, you know, like 4 hours before kickoff, whatever kickoff might be.
Yeah.
So I get to the station. I'm always the first on the station, usually. And I'm there, and then you'll see 1 or 2 West Ham fans come on. And by the time the train arrives, there's probably 30 or 40 of us, all West Ham.
Yep.
And usually there's 1 Millwall. He does actually get a bit of stick, not much, but he gets a little bit.
Little bit of gentle banter.
Just, you know, like, do you want to go under the next train? And things like that, you know, just gentle banter.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing nasty.
actually, he's a lad I've known for a few years, and he's a decent fella. But anyway, there's probably 30, 35 of us get on the train to go up to the stadium, and I'm usually on the train with them right up till we get to Stratford, and then I lose them. Lose all my buddies, all my Crawley boys. But it's great though, because
can I just say about the trains though? Because one thing I've got to say is we got out of the stadium last night, right? And this, I was astonished. Bear in mind, this is a European game, and you've got 60,000 there or thereabouts West Ham fans watching their team play.
Yeah.
I got to Ebbsfleet International. Now, I know there's other modes of transport. You can use the main line. You can use overground, underground buses, cab, Uber, whatever. Car, bike. But there's going to be there's a fair amount of West Ham supporters that will venture to Ebbsfleet International train station.
Right.
We got there, and before the barriers, they'd shut the barriers, and that no one was getting through because the platform was rammed by all accounts when we got there, and we're sitting there for like 20 minutes, something like that, waiting for the British Transport Police and whoever to say through you go. We eventually sort of like meandered through, sort of like all like sheep herded together, whatever. And someone told us that, they weren't expecting extra time. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And the train that turned up, 6 carriages, I'm like, brilliant. Honestly, we got in this train, it was like sardines, and there were people that couldn't get on. It was absolutely pathetic. Crazy, and that was at about 11:15 at night. Ridiculous. Well done. Well done, Southeastern trains. Well done.
Yeah, they're good, aren't they?
Brilliant. Absolute bunch of
should have a word with Race. Race, have a word, mate. Come on.
Who is it he's looking to go? Is it Greater Anglia or something?
I don't know. I don't know. He just wants to drive a train, doesn't he? That's all he wants to do is drive a train, bless him.
Why not?
Good luck to him. Good luck to him. He's gone through all the tests and everything. Fair play to him.
I know, that's when he walked into my pub and scared the shit out of me one afternoon. I looked up and I thought, you weren't expecting that. He did a
baby face.
He did a
little baby face.
Walked through the door. Where do you sleep?
Don't worry. I'll be doing that to you at some point. Soon. I don't know when that'll be.
If we go back onto, if we just go back to the match, because obviously we've covered the save.
What a save that was! Yeah, go on.
It was, yeah. Second half, we had multiple chances here and there. They had a couple, but they were half chances. There was nothing. There was no further proper saves that Areola had to make.
A couple of balls straight at him, but that was about it, wasn't it? Really, yeah.
But the second half, I would say that it's fair to say we were the team that was trying to force the issue, but we just couldn't get that breakthrough. In comes extra time, and again, the first half of extra time pretty much carries on in the same vein. We're still the team that are trying to force the issue, and they're absorbing it. In fairness, I thought they employed the tactics that we know the European teams do against the British teams. You know, they're masters of wasting a bit of time.
But they had to change their tactics after that first goal, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they had to make a slight adaptation, but they still had this sort of like, you know, they'd get brushed and they'd fall down like they've been shot. The usual nonsense that you get and all of the rest of it. And the ref was falling for it. This is the really stupid thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's a continental ref as well.
Yeah.
Well, Budgie, you mentioned it, didn't you, in the chat? Was that it was one of the worst refereeing performances that you'd seen for some time, wasn't it?
That was yesterday, just after the game, I believe. Yeah.
You said it.
And I was probably 9 sheets to the wind by that point, actually, Duke. If I'm honest,
I'd say you've still got a long way to beat Rob Harris when Leeds beat us 5-1 at Upton Park. Players sent off. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, with last night's refereeing performance, I felt that from about minute 4 or 5 into the game, from about minute 4 or 5 in the game, I felt that the referee was against us. I felt that any decision was going to go against us. Any decision.
Well, I saw multiple fouls that they got awarded that I'm looking at and going questionable or blatantly no way. And then I think there was another one at some point. I think it might have been in the extra time where, and I'm sure it was Antonio, and the defenders literally had arms on his back, pushed him.
Yeah.
No foul. And I'm sitting there
no
going,
foul
I'm
at
like,
all.
Really? Just
And then there was that one with Declan Rice when he literally ran his hand up the bloke's back as he pulled his arms away.
Yeah.
And the geezer goes down like he's been like he's been hit with a baseball bat or something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, listen, that kind of behaviour really needs to be stopped. I mean, them players need some kind of, you know, post-match, you know, fine or, you know, I don't know, something needs to happen, mate, because it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, and you're getting players in the Premiership trying it on as well.
With it, didn't they? That's the thing. If they knew they weren't going to get away with it, they'd soon stop. But they do it because they do get away with it. So yeah, but there you go.
And you know, it's the nanny state that we live in now. It's causing this, you know, this almighty great lump in the game. And we need to get that lump flattened out because it's just not. It's not good for the game.
No,
it's not pretty, and
do you know who got a yellow card at the end of the first half of extra time? And I didn't realise this at the time, but did you? No, Kevin Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan got booked. Yeah.
He
set to.
He was having a go at the fourth official. Yeah,
I didn't realise that at the time. It was only afterwards I sort of like read that he got yellow.
I got a funny feeling that's over the decision of that one that I just described when Rice pulled his hand off the bloke's back, and he literally brushed his fingers over his spine, as it were. It was almost like he tickled the man. And I think that's what Nolan was going mental over.
Well, I think
he said, "Have a look at the screen. Have a look at the screen. You'll see it weren't." You know,
I think Nolan's got confused with the time of year. I think he thought that Boxing Day was coming up soon, and he needed to get a suspension, so he didn't have to play.
Time off.
So I think that's what he went for.
I don't know the answer to this one, Mitch. You got to help us out with that. Put us out of suspense.
Yes, I know the answer.
Do you know?
I know the answer. They lost. I think it was 2019. They lost to the captain of the side. Played last night and scored the winner. Scored the first goal in the game. Thomas Souček was captain of Slavia Prague.
Oh, of Slavia
Souček.
Prague. Not. I thought he was asking who was the captain of Seville.
Oh no, the last time they lost was they were beaten by Slavia, and Thomas Souček was the captain.
Yep,
of
he's
Prague
just
in that
confirmed
game.
that you are correct.
There you go, confirmed.
Okay,
Jukey boy, you ledge. You ledge.
I didn't know that piece.
Hey, look at him.
Well done. Well
I
done.
can't wear a cowboy hat for a while now, son.
Yeah, no, I don't know where they're. Oh, they're behind me. They're over there. You can see them. I have to say they threw themselves around a bit, but what's that? I thought we played them in that game quite well. Like, we knew what they were going to do, and after, like you said there, Budge, about just giving him a gentle caress on his spine, threw him to the floor.
Yeah,
needed surgery in case he became paralysed or some shit. We wisened up to it a bit, and we didn't make any stupid decisions. I mean, listen, we could have got irate with that. We could have got angry. Stupid tackles could have started flying in. You know, of the mindset that I am. Oh, you want something to fucking go down about it? I'll have that prick. Bang, you know.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's
like your mum used to say, you wait till you go home, I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
We could have fallen into that trap, but we didn't. We kind of
that's we remain professional.
We're going to stand up. I mean, there was the one where Dawson decided to, he turned into Gandalf, didn't he, in Lord of the Rings? You shall not pass, and the geezer just literally ran straight into him. He's like, okay,
can I ask you guys a brief question?
Of course.
And this is, obviously, if the guys in the chat want to put their comments in, it'll be great as well. But game-changing moment last night, because it didn't look like we were going to score for a little while.
I know mine.
So
I still think it's the save.
Yeah,
I honestly think that goes in, changes everything. We're 1-0 down on the night. We're 2-0 down on aggregate, and you just know. And this isn't a criticism; it's a fact that the crowd would have gone, and the energy level would have dropped. The noise would have dropped, even if it was just momentary, and it later recovered because we were knocking on the door, whatever. There would have been that lull, that sapping of spirit, if you will. And I do think that save from Areola cannot be underestimated, in my opinion. I said,
listen, Gatesy, he was my man of the match, mate. For me, man of the match. I'm sorry, that save and the way he commanded his box, the way he directed and organised the defence, outstanding performance, in my opinion. Outstanding.
Well, my man of the match was the team. I'm just going to say that. I think they all.
Oh yeah. Listen, they all get a 9.5 or better, don't they, for last night's performance? You know.
Yeah.
Almost a 10 out of 10 performance from everybody.
If you had, I'll tell you what.
Special.
Do you want to do player ratings? Seriously,
if you want to, Rob, I'm up for it.
I just gave you mine. 10.
Okay.
Through the ball, Duke.
You're not going to give Ben Rama 9.5. My cousin's agreeing with me, but then again, he's my cousin, so you know.
Ready? Top 10 pictures of the game. This is one of them. Okay, a West Ham fan enjoying himself. I don't know if you're going to be able to see if I can get the glare off the screen. He's not. I can't see it properly, but I don't know if you can see there. He's topless.
Oh,
he looks like me without a top on.
He wasn't the only one.
No, I know. I was top. No, I wasn't. No,
I was.
I couldn't have been. I was in my pub, Budge. I really couldn't do that to people.
I was in a pub also.
Yeah, no, this is my.
But it
pub.
weren't my own.
The one that I run, so I can't.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I would have been topless if I'd have been there.
Duke said 10 out of 10 for everyone except Ben Rama, who only gets 9.5.
I never said no such thing. Let's not start winding up
because he doesn't like Ben Rama.
Let's not start winding up the natives. I've praised Ben Rama already.
It's banter, dude. Leave it alone. Banter. Come along. I'll tell you. Okay, well, you've gone 10 for everyone, so I don't really need to go too far further with that. And Troj has said as far as his one, he's gone 8 apart from Antonio, Rice, and Sojek. So what do they get, Troj? Let us know. But we'll come to you, Budgie, and anybody else in the live chat that wants to join in with this, feel free. Budgie, Alphonse Areola, marks out of 10. No half marks. You're not allowed. And
10.
Give us your reasoning as well.
Okay, 10. Well, I kind of explained already that he saved, the way he commanded his box, the way he directed and controlled the defence was absolutely world class. Really and truly, if he's not our next number one, there's something very, very wrong in the club.
Well, if you're bringing in someone that's better than him on the basis of what I've seen thus far, limited though it has been, then we must be getting in someone like the next Gianluigi Buffon,
Alisson,
or whoever.
We might be getting Alisson, or you know. Who knows? But listen, there ain't nobody out there available that's better than Alphonse Areola at this moment.
And the thing is, he's had a year to get superb. He's had a year to sort of like to bed into the sort of like the training.
Have you seen the way he? Have you seen the way he communicates and you know, blends with his teammates in training, on the way into the stadium,
he's one of the lads, isn't he?
On the way off the ground. Mate, listen, you know how Fabianski ran up to Vlasic when he scored his first goal?
Yeah.
He ran the full length of the pitch to come and congratulate him. Yes, he did. Areola would do exactly the same thing if, you know, somebody who's been, like, for example, Yarmolenko. Like last night, I would have thought that, I was surprised he didn't, but Areola he's one of the boys, just as much as Fabianski or as much as Declan Rice or Mark Noble. He's one of the boys. I'm telling you. He
and the
loves
risk is
this club.
if you go and bring in a Sam Johnston, who's to say that Sam and look, I know that David Moyes would do his due diligence and all the rest of it, but who's to say that Sam Johnston or other goalkeeper would walk through the door and he would fit in and get on with everybody? He could be a disruptive influence and it might not work out. Whereas what you just said there, well, you know that he's going to work. But same as with, of
course.
All right, let's bring up another name. It's a little bit of a hobby horse of a lot of fans, but Jesse Lingard. You know that Jesse Lingard would have slotted straight in. He would have been
straight into
a good
definitely.
fit because he worked on the loan. So, you know, he got on with the lads, he got on with the manager,
which is also one of the reasons why Nolan fitted in. That's one of the reasons why Nolan fitted in as a coach, because he already knew the setup. He already knew a lot of the lads that played. You know, he's obviously been keeping in touch with the club.
Guessing that's a typing error. He coax off his line. If ever there was a Freudian slip, that's it.
There it is. There it is. And now we know what that photograph was all about in the chat the other day, Juki.
Yeah, it was fab.
You've had Areola in the pub, haven't you? And you ain't told none of us.
I have to say, I do completely agree with what he's just said there.
Yeah.
As I've said this before, that Areola does command that box. Like, my God. And I said it, I think it was the Newcastle goal, Rob. We were discussing this before. I think it was last season.
So he'll muck about.
It's true.
Rob,
and he's got. And
would there be such a thing as a heat map for Areola's movement?
Yes, I think I could probably find it, but right now might be a little bit.
No, not right this moment. But if at some point, if you've got a moment, if you could find like a heat map of his movements in his game, that would be a very interesting view, I think.
Okay. And then what? Make a comparison to Fabianski, say?
To Fabianski, yeah, maybe, yeah, that would be quite something, I reckon, maybe.
Okay.
Fabianski,
just an idea for you. Because I know how much you love your heat maps and stuff, Rob. You know,
I just love me stats. I like drilling down into stuff.
I do. I love listening to you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
It's great. Like I said to Duke, you know, when we were chatting the other night for 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Beat's gone straight in. Look at that. Areola didn't milk it.
Tite.
Very good.
They had a player called Titi Canto, didn't they, or something?
TT.
So you've given him a 9, did you say, or a 10?
I gave him a 10 out of 10. I thought he was excellent.
Fair enough. Let's go to Aaron Cresswell.
Again, another rather accomplished performance. Didn't really see a lot wrong in his or anyone else's performances, but the one thing that I am a little concerned with Aaron Cresswell is the ball can be taken off him if he's moving with it.
Okay.
Other than that, if I'm not allowed to give a 0.5, I'm going to have to give Aaron Cresswell a 9.
Do you know the one thing I will say that I thought with Aaron Cresswell last night? I think he did his job beautifully, except for one thing, one area of his game that I was a little bit disappointed with him, because I know what he can do in this particular area. I thought his set piece delivery was quite erratic.
Yeah, it was average above, you know, or average or just above.
Yeah, but then that might have tied into the what Trodge is saying here. He wasn't fully fit, so it may well be that it feeds into that.
That is very true. Yeah, and Trodge, thank you for pointing that out, because I had forgotten about that.
Oh, hello. Russ is at London Stadium for the 23s, is he?
Yes, he is. He said that on his lunchtime show earlier.
I was at work, and I wanted to get home as quick as possible. Yeah. I try to, but I get easily distracted, and I'm trying to fix them.
I know, yeah, and I do too. And I was supposed to be watching my brother while he was digging with the machine.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to Russ, agreeing with everything he's saying, and
Your brother's there with a missing arm.
My brother's pulled up a cable. He pulled up a cable. Fortunately, It was a 35-year-old cable that was no longer in use, but I didn't spot it, and I should have done. Ooh. But I was listening to a little bit of West Ham Network at the time, so yeah, all is forgiven.
Duke, I've just sent you a message in the private chat. Is that okay?
Yeah, hang on. I'm on my way to it. Hang on. Can't see
mate.
it on full screen. Hello.
No, it's right. It's my nephew.
I was going to say, can you just really quickly take over for me?
Yeah, of course, I can. You all right?
Okay. Yeah. Just give me a few minutes.
Turn the mic off. Yeah.
Hang on. No, I want to come out. Hang
on. Yeah, go on, Budge. Carry on. You were saying about your.
No, I was talking about Creswell, and
yes.
I thought he was, reasonably good last night. And, as I said, the only thing is I felt that he was a little vulnerable in the tackle last night. The ball was taken off him a couple of times, which didn't really amount to anything, fortunately. But, that it just takes 1 point off of him for me. It was a 9 out of 10 performance, mate.
Well, Peter says it here. 2 years ago, there was a lot of people saying that Cresswell shouldn't play with the club again.
That's true.
He's had
wasn't one.
He's had a renaissance, isn't he? He's kind of come back, and he's such an integral part of the team now. And the problem is, he's going to be very difficult. And over the next couple of years, next 18 months, I suppose, he's going to be very difficult to replace. He's going to be
at this moment in time, there isn't any replacing him other than Ben Johnson, obviously.
Yeah.
But Ben Johnson, is he going to be a decent full-time left back? Is he? Because
I think he could.
I don't doubt it. I've got to be honest. I don't doubt it.
No, we don't want you there.
But then where do we go with our right back replacement when, we need?
Well, we've got Ashby there, haven't you? So.
I suppose a 3 to 5 year plan.
Buttons in the background, you piss off.
A 3 to 5 year plan for Ashby. Yeah, I reckon he could be definitely one of the top right backs at the club. But right this moment, he's young. He needs to build up a little bit more experience and stuff, in my opinion. He's a good player. He's a very good player. Not Premiership quality yet, though. Not yet. Close, but not there.
Fair enough.
Should we move in towards Zuma?
Yes, we've got a special.
We'll do a little rating on Zoom.
Got a special guest in the chat in the thing.
Okay.
We're going to bring him in. He's a pain in the arse if you read his name on screen, because I just changed it for him.
That's not very friendly. Well, actually, that's actually reasonably polite for some of the names that you've called me in the past.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, so got him. Zuma.
Okay, Mr. Reliable, really, isn't he? I mean, you'll probably hear that phrase a couple of times throughout this squad of players from last night. Zuma seems to have come into the club flying, and then there was that little video episode, and I don't want to harp on that. And since that moment, he has been like, King Lion in the Pride. He's been absolutely faultless, really, in my opinion. 1 or 2 small errors, but hey, what
nothing catastrophic.
No, he hasn't cost us a goal yet, I don't think.
No.
Touchwood.
Yeah.
But
in the cat's whiskers.
He listen, he's putting himself up there for a good shout for vice captain, in my opinion. He's been brilliant.
I think he's putting himself,
because obviously Declan's going to become our club captain this year. Oh, hold on that though, Duke, because there's another man that didn't play last night, unfortunately, that's up for that for me. In fact, I would think he's up for probably most improved player of the year in the Premiership.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with you that he's. I think they're both. I think they're both in. I think they're the 2 solid favourites for me. the man you just mentioned that didn't play last night, and Zuma, I think are two solid. The two outstanding characters that are going to be the ones for
hammer of the year. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Zuma has got experience in Champions League, World Cup, European Championship.
He's won the Champions League.
Yeah, he's won the Premiership with Chelsea a couple of times or more. Yeah. Good evening, Richard. Listen, Kurt Zuma was the right man for the right money at the right time.
Yeah,
for me, and he has helped to stabilise that back four. Like, it's like we've just poured concrete all over the back four. They're immovable objects at the moment. They've been brilliant recently. Yes, we have conceded goals, but they've been really good. So,
he's found it again.
Kurt Zuma's got to have a 10 for me for last night.
What about the new Bobby Moore then? Craig Dawson.
Another reliable player that, listen, cheap money. You don't always get a decent runner when you've got cheap money on it, Listen, Craig Dawson has been spectacular since he's come to this club. And on last night's performance, he's going to have another 10. He's going to have a 10. I mean, it's the only one he's ever got from me. But I thought he was superb last night.
Trudges on a wind-up.
We got 3 captains in the back four. 3 potential captains in the back four. In Creswell, Zuma and Dawson. Any one of them 3 could wear the armband and be a commanding captain.
Yeah, agreed. Very much agree with you there, mate.
Yeah.
He says he's not on a wind-up. He says he's not on a wind-up, the boy. I think should we move into our Argentinian diamond? Should we move on?
We missed out Ben Johnson.
Oh, we did miss out Ben Johnson. We've just covered 3. Sorry.
Yeah, we've only covered 3 at the back.
See, this is what happens. But I
can if you want
a couple
to,
of minutes, and it all goes to pot.
I was working my way across and Duke, he steered me up front a little bit more. Duke, we'll go whichever direction you want to guide us in, buddy. You're in the seat at the moment.
I'm gonna go Johnson then. Fuck it. Because I want to, not because you told me to.
Ben Johnson, what a mature young lad he is, isn't he? I mean,
did you see him after the goal?
He's got a 25-year-old head on him already.
Did you see him after the goal with Yarmolenko? He was the last one to give Yarmolenko like a man hug. And he honestly looked like he was going to burst into tears. He honestly
did,
looked
didn't he?
Like he was about to burst into tears.
He certainly did. And, listen, last week when we played Sevilla, Ben Johnson looked quality. I mean, a 9 out of 10 performance for Ben Johnson last week, for me. A couple of people criticised 1 or 2 of his attributes, but I didn't really see too much wrong in what he did last week. Sorry?
I say he still needs to add something to his game when he's on an offensive front. He's not quite on the level
the crossing needs to improve a little.
Yeah.
And he needs to have a little more confidence in his shooting ability.
Yep.
Which we've seen against Villa.
I think also he needs to apply a little more pressure on his passing into the box as well, because some of them fall short. So I think a little more power in the passes, even if it's a little too strong, whoever he's passing to should be able to, like Yarmolenko did last week, be able to cushion
from that really poor pass,
from that poor pass from Yarmolenko, which actually was set up, if you don't mind me saying, by Craig Dawson.
My goodness.
But Ben Johnson last night stepped up his game a little, I felt. I felt he was still a little weak in the offensive positions, but
Rob?
defensively, he's really stepped up.
Rob, what's wrong?
I'm staggered. I don't. This has got to be a troll. This has to be a troll, right? Someone has just added a comment onto the match review. Raoul Moat. Make of that name what you will, but if you
we know what that name
what that
connected to.
Yeah, quotes unquotes. Well, we won't get past Barcelona. Now, I should stress past is not spelled P-A-S-T, but P-A-S-S-E-D. Past Barcelona to reach the finals. Bad luck. I mean, Jesus Christ, we've just had a brilliant game like last night. Oh, thanks for pissing on me, Chips. Thanks very much.
Well, to be fair, we beat a team last night that are above Barcelona in La Liga. We beat a team that have got 6 titles in that competition and were odds-on favourite, 9-2. No, 2-9, I think it was. Sorry, somebody said to me today, 2-9 odds on Sevilla lifting the trophy this year, right? 2-9. So you've got to put £9 on to win 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't believe that.
We beat them last night convincingly. So whoever you are, Relmo, please, please, please wind your neck in. Thank you.
That is not a West Ham fan. I'm telling you now.
No, it's not. It is not. No.
Someone taking the
And Peter's right in what he says there. We need to get past Leon first. Yep. Let's not jump our guns, right? I say this. I will say this regardless. Leon are there just like we are on merit. Okay.
Yes, they are.
They're not there because, like Leipzig, they got a buy. They're there because they've earned that distinction of being in the last 8. No different to us. I can guarantee you that they're going. Leon fans are going. No, they're going.
Pass us to forget.
We surrender.
I need my garlic.
Oh gosh.
I bet
who said that in the chat? That was you,
me, wasn't it? That was me. Yeah. Cheese eating surrender monkeys, as Homer Simpson once called them in The Simpsons.
They're not going to be looking forward to playing us.
No.
Right?
No one will.
But I can guarantee you.
Can I tell you something, though, Duke?
Yeah.
Nobody in that competition or the Premier League want to play us right now.
I was about to say, can you imagine Spurs now on Sunday? They're going to be feeling a bit concerned that we're rocking what we're doing. Promise you now.
And they're out of the Potato Growers League, so they ain't even looking at European games at the moment.
I did have that. I did have a bit of that. I did have a bit of that on Facebook last night. That obviously we'd gone through, and a Spud fan on his status had put, it's all well and good. It's all well and good that you've won that, but you're still shit. You're still 41 years without a trophy, rada. And I turned around and went, look at this Conference League mug piping up. Well, you put any pressure on lately? Like honestly, they like if there is ever a club that another club live rent free in their heads, it's us living rent free in Spurs fans' heads. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. And I think that's part of the reason why I actually think I dislike Spurs more than I dislike Millwall. Is because of the way that
something? I know a few Spurs fans and I know a few Millwall fans, and out of my Spurs fan associates, there's only one that I can call a friend. Just one. Because I've known him for 48 years, so I can't not call him my friend. And we are really close friends, actually. He's lived in my house when he split up with his missus.
Well, Rob has to call his wife.
I understand that, Rob, and I understand your withdrawal from the conversation. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
And I also know quite a few Millwall fans because obviously in Crawley, south of London, we've got, oh mate, there's all sorts here. There's even Gillingham fans in Crawley.
Do they let them out of Gillingham?
Oh gosh, yeah.
They shouldn't.
I know. There's not enough of them. But I get on better with the Millwall fans than I do most of the Spurs fans I know.
Yeah. That's because Millwall fans aren't deluded.
No. And there was a guy in the pub last night, apparently. Now, this is a match report I've had from the landlord because I popped in for a couple of quick ones before I came home. And he said to me, upon the second goal when your shirt was removed, I went, right, okay. Now we're talking about an Asian guy here. This guy's from India. He's really apart from present company, he's one of the best pub landlords I know.
Good man.
Okay. But listen, he gets Brazilian dancers in when England are playing and all sorts. It's brilliant. It's great. So he said to me, he said, when your shirt was removed and you were running around the pub swinging it around like Lanzini, I said, yeah, go on. He said, you went up to John, who's one of the Spurs fans. He said, and asked him, how'd you feel now, mug? And I went, oh dear.
Oops.
He went, yeah. I said, what was John's reaction? Because John and I actually get on really well in the pub. I said, what was John's reaction? He kissed me on the cheek, apparently, and said, congratulations, mate. You've done it. You've done well. And I went, so he was gracious. He went, yeah. I said, I'll have to let him buy me a pint now. He pissed himself laughing. Absolutely wet himself. Because I won't actually buy him a pint. I'll buy one for his son, but his son's only 14, so he's not allowed to drink it. So John actually drinks it. But that's the deal I've got with the landlord. I said to him, I can't buy John a drink. He's a Spurs fan. But I'll buy one for his son and leave it in the bin. And if John wants it, he can drink it. But I'm not buying it for John. So that's the thing. But last night, apparently, he gave me a kiss on the cheek and congratulated us on our brilliant victory and stuff. So, yeah, I might have stuck it on him a little bit. But
just want to cover what Trudge is saying in the chat about
Ben Johnson.
About Ben Johnson, and there's part of me that is beginning to see a bit of this now. It's the reason he wouldn't sign a 6-year deal. He's being used all over the shop. He reckons he reckons he'd be a good player, maybe as a centre back, or part of a back three. I actually think as a left and a right back, I think he's fantastic, and we need to tie him down quite quickly because he has that ability to play across. Though he does have the ability to play across the back line, and we do need to get him tied down and bloody sharpish because I don't want to lose him.
Yeah. So could you see him being played sort of? Bear with me for a second. In a back five, so as 3 centre backs and say, for example, Soufal and Creswell as the wing backs.
Yeah, basically in the same role that Cresswell takes up, just on the other side. Cresswell's not going to be around.
So as a right-sided centre.
Yeah, right-sided out of the 3. Yeah.
Kurt Zouma out on the left and Dawson boss in the middle.
Yeah, I think he's got
at this moment, or Ogbonna, of course.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're all coming back. Listen, we obviously rate him very highly, and I'm not sure who it was that asked the question about the best defender in the club.
That was Apache.
Was it Apache? Yeah. See,
I'm going to give my answer. Best defender since Glenn Johnson, Declan Rice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's there, but Declan Rice for me would be because obviously Declan Rice came through
from the academy. You say
from the academy, yeah. Declan Rice came through as a centre back, didn't he?
Undoubtedly,
as a centre back and then moved over,
and can easily step right back into that position if required. To me, there is no better centre back in the club actually
than Declan Rice.
Yeah.
True.
But I love what he does
Where did we get to on the player ratings, Duke?
We
got as far as Johnson.
We got as far as Glenn. What I will say is Peter's got a question for you there, Budge. Is it a case of, first it's a kiss, but when we get past Leon, he wants to know, do you go on to the next base? So do you maybe, do you give him a cheeky little over the trousers feely up, or you just you leaving it
or
a
a reach round or something? Are we talking about?
Well, you're probably knowing you'll meet him in the toilet.
Listen, I have been known to meet people in the toilet. So
yeah, easy. George Michael got in trouble for that. Remember?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I didn't like him either. No. So no, we don't get past that. Listen, if he did that to me, I'm actually going to report him to the police because I didn't want that kind of behaviour going on.
But
I feel like a victim. I feel like a victim.
That's your own fault. I'm sorry.
He gave me the kiss. I didn't kiss him. Johnson got a 9 from me. Yes,
that was it. Yes, okay. 9.
Cool. Do you want to carry this on, Duke, or did you want me to step back in?
You carry on.
Because you put me on a naughty step.
It was me that diversified, so I do apologise.
Well, I keep when Duke he goes off on more tangents than Pythagoras.
I keep looking up at the camera, and Joe's obviously working for me at the minute. I was meant to start work half hour ago, and she's currently covering me. She's downstairs. She's downstairs working my shift.
She's a keeper.
No, she's more of a centre back.
Fair enough. I'm going to say let her stay another week.
We'll have to start calling her Oggy instead of Joe.
Before we get on the double figures, I say about Duke going off on a tangent. This one here, Trosh says, what would happen if Kufel recovered, or not if, he will recover from the hernia, and he's back to being the best right back in the league? Well, I would say, he's only going to become the best right back in the league if Ben Johnson's performance levels dips to such a point that allows him the opportunity.
Needed elsewhere.
Well, yeah. I was about to say that. Again, comes back to what I said earlier. Cresswell's not going to be around forever. He's probably got maybe 18 months. Maybe 18 months top of his game, and then we end up in a noble situation. That I personally think that we're in a position where if Soufal does recover that form and goes back over, Johnson can quite easily step in at left back, and as we were saying, that benefits Ben Rama, doesn't it? So
your mate.
Yes, that kid needed a slap earlier, by the way, in the chat.
I thought you'd. I said you'd have chinned him.
Fucking crying because you met him. Behave yourself. Sort shit out.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it was a nice gesture on Ben Rama's part, though.
It was a brick.
Beautiful moment. Beautiful moment.
Right, stop mincing your words. Yeah, go
on. Thomas Souček.
Right. Well,
how do you mark the goal scorer?
High praise for that man, I think. Look, okay, I'm going to just diversify ever so slightly before I rate him. Declan Rice admitted in his interview, apparently, I didn't see it because I was
running around with your shirt off.
I was skyward by the time Declan Rice came on the screen. So apparently he said that he and Lanzini had this agreement that they would stay slightly deeper so that Thomas could get forward more. How well that paid off was evident throughout the whole of the evening. I thought he was quality in the role that he played. The fact that he got that header for the goal was just the icing on the cake for him, really. It topped off a 9-point performance and gave him a 10 for me. Thomas Souček was absolutely outstanding last night. And again, another potential captain.
Well, we go from a potential captain to the team captain on the night, Declan Rice. How do you mark him? And I loved at the end of the match, he was, you know, he was coming over
Singing
the crowd,
Bubbles.
singing Bubbles.
Singing Bubbles. I mean,
during the
come
game,
on.
I don't know if you saw it. There was a point in the game. I think it was in extra time or was it in normal time, whatever. Ball goes out and he's turning to the crowd and he's going, "Come on," sort of thing. I love that.
Yes, yes. Okay, so whoever said he actually wants to go to Chelsea?
Chelsea fans.
You know, a few people have mentioned that. In fact, I've been guilty of it myself. I don't think he does right now. Judging by the way that guy put himself across last night, I don't think he wants to go anywhere, if I'm honest with you guys. You know,
Doesn't look
what
Russ.
a captain's performance that was last night.
Did you see him?
He showed why he's going. Oh mate, not even that point. By that point, you know, I mean, I've seen that on various social media platforms. By that point, he'd already cemented his place in West Ham folklore for me. You know, the way he put himself across last night, captain's performance from him last night was incredibly good. And even Mark Noble acknowledged that, as far as I'm aware.
Did you see that photograph of Rice and Noble in the changing rooms afterwards?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, isn't it?
Brought a tear to my eye. Rob. I've got to be honest with you. Absolutely quality. I mean, Declan, I can't give 0.5, so he's going to have an 11.
Yeah, fair play. I'm just going to address Mr. Budden, who hopefully is still in the chat. I have just sent you a link via your Twitter DM. So if you wish to join us, if you're in a position to join us, please feel free to do so. So where we got to go now? Let's go. You did Lanzini?
Manu.
No, you haven't.
No. I sidestepped him so that we could do Ben Johnson.
Do you want to do him last then, or because Happy Hammerette might be watching? Lanzini.
She's working.
Oh, so right.
She's doing her double shift tonight. It's Friday,
so
isn't
you
it?
Can say he was crap and you'll get away with it.
I could if I wanted to, but I wouldn't because I don't believe that he was. In fact, you know, like I said earlier on, when we started doing the ratings, I don't think anybody put in a bad shift last night. Anybody. So Manu was his usual creative self at times, and he was also his usual clumsy self at others. But having said that,
good.
Yes, it was. I felt that by clumsy, I felt that he didn't really offer himself up as much as he could have done for the creative part of the game. Okay. Do you know what I mean? I felt that when he got the ball, he retained the ball brilliantly. Yeah, but when others were in play, he kind of, I think he concentrated too much on the defensive part of his job. He wasn't offering himself up forward enough for me. But, you know, still a good performance from the guy. And it's still high praise and a 9 out of 10 for him. Because, you know, I didn't think he did anything wrong last night. You know,
fair enough.
He did his job. And a heck of a lot more, you know. But he didn't do anything wrong. Just didn't fulfill what I believed he could have done last night. He could have got himself a goal last night, in my opinion.
Yeah,
the way he was playing.
You seen who's just popped into the green room? Oh, hang on. He's asked.
Bring him in.
Hang on. He's just preparing himself. You know what these YouTubers are like? They're all sort of, you know, they got in the makeup department and, you know,
the forehead of. He's the
forehead. Oh, not me, mate. I'm still in my work clothes. Look.
He's the forehead of security, like they say in a. Yeah. Oh, he's gone. Oh, I've upset him. I've upset him.
You've insulted him.
I called him the forehead of security, like out of Iron Man 3.
He misheard you and thought you said something else. You called him a for something else. He probably thought you called him a foreskin. He didn't, Russ. He didn't.
No, he didn't. Come on, Russ. Come back.
Right. Oh, hang on. Right. Okay. You good to go? Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up. Mr. Button!
Hello.
Oh,
How's it going?
I'm still
here he
here.
is.
Look at this. We're
He's
not going to get
still at the
Still here.
stadium.
are we?
Still here. Can't get rid of me.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
You had a bit of an easy time of it last night, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because it was someone else doing the old
Big Tone. Little Tone.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Wembley Stadium, man, yeah?
Yeah, Tony, top man. Yeah, it was quiet. I had a quiet day. No, I didn't actually. But yeah, it was good, man.
You still put in your expenses claim.
Of course, I'm still charging the same.
Well, you was obviously in and amongst it last night. What? And you've been there for pretty much every game at London Stadium since we moved there. Have you ever missed a game?
Yeah, a couple. You wouldn't notice. No, I didn't mean not through COVID.
Holidays.
Just holidays.
Yeah.
Where games get rescheduled, where you sort of like you book it because you think, oh, it's all right, I ain't got a game that week, or I can go on the Saturday and then it gets changed to the Sunday and then you're a bit fucked. So a bit buggered up. So yeah, a couple of games, but yeah, it was awesome. I think it was. I think honestly, it was probably the best. I actually think it surpassed the last game of bowling for me.
Really? It surpassed it.
I think it did for atmosphere. Because
wow, that's
brilliant.
a big statement.
That's brilliant. That's a brilliant statement.
There's another 20,000. There was another 20,000 people there. Do you know what I mean?
I've heard that said a couple of times. I have heard that said a couple of times across.
I've never been because I'm sat here in this sort of like metal box, and I can always feel the crowd. The crowd are really. You can feel it. You can vibrate. It feels like vibrations for the floor. But yesterday, I think when everyone was doing the West Ham is massive, and dancing to it, I actually felt the box sway.
Wow. Were you a bit concerned?
Which might question the foundations that this stadium's built on. But there was definitely movement. There was definitely movement, which I know there is because the reason why.
For you.
Well, I know because I know it does shake because it can shake because they've got a massive. There's about 50 grand's worth of steel here, which the original Olympic Committee put in as the final finish camera. And when the stadium rocks, it shakes, so they couldn't use it. So I know it can shake up here, and it's the first time I felt it shake in 6 years. So
wow,
there you go.
That's quite incredible.
Yeah. You did a little live thing from. Was it this morning?
No, I did one outside. We did
outside the stadium. Immediately after the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, loud and clear. Sorry, so I'm working at the same time. But yeah, no, it's the state. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did a little thing afterwards. We ended up bumping into Jazz, doing his stuff, which is quite funny.
He had a couple of rums by this stage.
Yeah, he was doing his video, and I think. Not a photo bomb; it was a video bomb. I just sort of turned up in the middle, and but it was great, and it was lovely to see, and like guys of a certain era, certain vintage like us four. It's for me particularly. I've never seen West Ham in a final. Well, sorry, in a final I have, but I've never seen one win anything significant or play in Europe at this level, and. It was great.
We won the Fairway Cup at the start of the season, didn't we? So
and we could end up the season playing the same team in the final. We could play Atalanta in the Europa League final.
Go full circle.
Could go full circle.
Who would you like, Russ? Who would you like?
Final? Barcelona and then Rangers, isn't it? I think that's what everyone. That's what I want. Barcelona and Rangers. I don't want. I was quite glad we missed Leipzig. I don't like. They're sort of. I see RB Leipzig as almost like a Sevilla of the Bundesliga in terms of the quality. They've got some quality players. So I was glad we missed them. I was glad we missed we missed the Champions League teams, really. I mean, Lyon was obviously in the Europa League. I was surprised we didn't draw them in the group stages, to be honest, or a bigger team in the group stages, having come in as, we weren't ranked or anything like that. But, a frustration that obviously we don't. They're both, ties will be semis and the quarters will be home first leg, but it's what it is, isn't it? It's what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah, fair.
I would have liked. I think I would have liked Frankfurt in the quarter. That was my kind of dream tie. Out of it, just as we were saying earlier, because of our last foray into. Or no, 76. Was it 76?
Yeah,
it was
76.
When we played them the last time that we, So I would have liked that for a bit of a nostalgia.
We might. I mean, we could get semis though with them.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Let's be fair. I'm not being funny. If we're fancying
never complain at a semi.
Hey, listen, blue pills for that. Like we say, we fancy our chances against Barcelona, and I'll be honest, I still do. I still do fancy our chances if we come up against them. It's a special time. Let's be fair. Frankfurt have got to be doing the same, haven't they? Frankfurt have got to be feeling that, you know what, we've got to shout here. We've got to shout in this. So, I mean, any team that's there now are there for a reason. They've earned as I said earlier, they've earned their place in this quarter final. We've done fantastic. We've done fantastically well to get where we've got to, considering we've got such a small squad. And here we are, quarter finalists in the Europa League, looking at a possible time of Barcelona in the semi-final. Like, would you have expected that 2 years ago?
No. I don't think anyone would have.
No, but it's right. What was it said in the chat there? We got to focus on Lyon, and Lyon ain't going to be a pushover.
No, not at all.
Not at all. I mean, they're doing quite well. I mean, what are they? Just above mid-table in French league.
Yeah, you're
right.
Yeah,
10th, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 10th. Yeah. They're 10th in Ligue 1. They've had I think they've literally it's almost like 30%. They, a third of the games they've won, a third of the games they've lost, a third of the game they've drawn. They're not as it's not as comprehensive as they were. I mean, they won Ligue 1 7 years in a row in the early 2000s when they had Benzema and people like that playing. But they're still a good side, and there's loads of ex-Premier League players in there who will know West Ham. And Dombele's there.
I mean, clearly they're a good side. They're in the quarterfinals of the Europa.
Yeah,
this is it. This is it.
So,
and
I mean, Porto are no mugs. Porto undefeated in the Premier League before. I think they still are, but they're no mugs. So they did well to knock them out.
I mean, I personally, I'd fancy our chances at the moment against the Brazilian national squad. I really would. I swear to God, I don't think we should fear anybody. The way them lot played last night, everybody played out of their skins. Brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's probably half of the reason why the atmosphere was so good. I mean, the atmosphere was already buzzing because of the occasion, but once the crowd had seen the commitment from the players and the players had seen the commitment from the crowd, it just kind of emanated in, as you described, Russ, probably a better atmosphere than the last game at the Bowling.
Well, I think in the same way to that game, everyone, I mean, we all were on social media, and you see, from early doors yesterday, people were up for it. And where we've had games before where the atmosphere has creeped up on us, like the Liverpool game, the Chelsea game this season. Yeah. But this game, we knew that everyone was going to be up for it. I mean, 6:30, we opened the doors. We had to shut the Heineken bar to move people along because it was just so busy.
Well, 59,100 home supporters, wasn't it?
Exactly, the most ever to see a home game at West Ham.
Yeah,
from West Ham perspective. So, which is awesome, absolutely awesome.
And I think that section that was all cordoned off below where the Sevilla fans were. You've obviously got 4,000 seats, I believe, that are under a tarpaulin that are not utilised because we haven't got the licence. I'll tell you now, we could have filled every single seat in that stadium and then some.
About that.
Okay, well, we're going to have a little go at reading the teams. I'm just going to unmute Marcus right now.
Yeah, it's muted. It's unmuted at this. There you go, see.
Right, gentlemen, I need to shoot off because I've got to go to work.
I'm going to have to dash as well because that'll come out soon.
So,
Russ, appreciate your time as always, my friend. It's been a
nice one, Russ. Lovely to see you again, mate. Duke, lovely to see you, son.
Cheers, Russ.
I'll give you a message about when I'm going to release the in crowd.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll do my best to get on that for as much as I can when.
Well, like I said, it'll be around your
ask a
schedule, mate.
question?
So yes,
What?
you can.
Is it going to be edited, or is it going to be the full
No.
3 odd hours? Oh my God!
I'm probably going to do it as a mini series.
I think you'll need to. Jesus.
I've already been in touch with Netflix. They're half interested.
They said we'll get back to you, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
we'll
need
get back
for
to you. No, it'll go out as a. I'm probably not going to molest it too much, if I'm honest, because I've got to say, Rob, it was beautiful. It was just natural.
Just and flowed, and then you looked at the clock.
Yeah.
And went, oh bloody hell!
Oh
yeah.
crikey! Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, when you and I did yours, we were kind of both time limited, so it kind of went in within like 48 minutes or something, you know. But next time we do something
involved.
Yes, we'll do something again, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Right, let me get out of here, boys.
Right, Jokey, love you, mate. Take care.
Everyone in the chat, thank you.
Thanks for yesterday, buddy.
No, don't be daft, mate. Not a problem. And you know, we're good. You know me. I try to be nice.
Cool.
That's it.
Speak to you soon.
See you soon.
Cheers, buddy.
Good night.
Okay. Texas Wally. I love it.
Yeah, it was because obviously he's into his, you know,
country music.
He's got a name, Duke. He was named after, you know, the Duke, i.e. John Wayne. But there's also a poker player, and obviously this is something I know a fair bit about. His name was Doyle Brunson. 2-time World Series of Poker main event winner in the 70s. He's still playing. He's like 88, 89 years of age, and he still plays at a really high standard. And his poker sobriquet, if you will, is Texas Dolly. So I just called him Texas Wally. Because I can. He changed my name to Pain in the Arse. So I thought, wow, two can play that game, sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But,
right, Rob. Listen, I've just noticed the time. It's 5 to 7.
Really quickly, the last 3.
Yeah. Can we? Because it's my brother's birthday, and I'm supposed to be at the pub in half hour.
Okay, real quick, we'll go. Just give us the marks for the last 3, which are obviously Michael Antonio, Duke's mate Saeed Ben Rama, and Pablo Fornals. Just rattle through them for us. Okay,
so we'll go with Ben Rama first. Again, not a lot wrong with his performance last night.
Agreed.
I think he's shown himself to be the player that we all want him to be last night. I think he had probably one of the best games in a West Ham shirt, if I'm honest.
It's got to be up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be up there. And this is the only time he's had one of these from me as well. Ben Rama's going to get a 9.
Wow.
For last night. Yeah.
Ben Rama gets a 9.
Yeah, I'm going to save Mickey for last. I'm going to go across to Pablo. Until the substitutions, I felt he really didn't have a great game. He was useful. He was okay. Didn't have a great game. Till the substitutions, and then when he went out onto the left, very different bag of onions. So as a result of that, for a poor first half, really not poor, but not an exceptional first half. And as I said, up until the substitution. So I'm going to give him an 8, which is probably the worst I'm going to give anybody a day. But
it's not bad, is it?
No, it's not a bad score, and that isn't a bad score at all. I mean, a 4 is a bad score for me. So he's doubled that, you know. So it's a good score, not a brilliant score. But you know, he is still, you know, the Spanish Cockney. Have you seen him on that little interview where he's, you know, fantastic. It's just, listen, even my brother's a Chelsea fan. Even he said to me, God, don't that wrench the heart out of your chest when one of your players, and a foreign player, is singing one of your chants? It's all very well if he sings Bubbles, because that's your anthem. He said, but he's singing one of your chants, bruv. He said, don't that just pull your heart out of your chest? And I was like, yeah, it does. He goes, I'd love that if that was a Chelsea player.
I never saw Didier Drogba do that.
No. You'll probably see some of the, British players doing it, but not the foreigners. I don't think they do. No. So anyway, finally to Mikel Antonio as the starting 11. Finally, vastly improved performance last night. He's been getting better over the last 3 or 4 games. Let's be honest. He's had a few shockers beforehand, but we're talking about last night's game. So I felt that he was useful and he was going out wide, and I don't really like it when he goes out wide because I feel that he's our striker. He should be central, but he's been incredible in his performance yesterday, and he's going to get another 9. I loved what he did last night. I thought he was quality.
Yeah, fair enough. And we haven't actually
only the goal prevented him getting the 10.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't actually sort of like touched on the guy that scored the goal that separated the 2 teams, Yarmolenko, though, 2 in 2.
I would like to.
Unbelievable.
I would like to. Yarmolenko has had a new lease of life since this terrible tragedy has befallen his country. He was given time to compose himself and stuff. And then last week he comes on and scores. And for me, that has got to be a contender for goal of the season. The finish.
It won't be because he doesn't play for Man City or Liverpool.
But, it's got to be a contender, Rob, surely. The way he trapped it with his right foot and immediately hits it with his left without even having to take a step or compose himself or anything like that. And gets a goal like that.
Technically, it was excellent, but he won't be in the conversation for goal of the season.
And then he comes on last night and scores that goal last night.
A little bit easier, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a little easier, but still, he was in the right place at the right time with the right technique. The ball nestled in the back of the net. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. All the guys on the pitch loved it. Everybody in the stadium must have loved it. You were there, Rob.
I was.
How did it feel?
I can't describe it.
I know.
Like,
and
what am I watching?
It's dream come true stuff, isn't it?
And the nice thing is that you obviously in the chat that we're in on WhatsApp, Kieran said, it's been 41 years, drink it in, enjoy it, blah blah blah. And I don't take this for granted. I don't. I hope and pray that West Ham will have future seasons, and more recently than 41 years, where we can sort of enjoy nights like this. But I know, it's not something I take for granted. And the one thing that I loved about last night, all 3 of my kids were there. I got to share it with my 2 sons and my daughter.
Beautiful, absolutely quality. Well, in fairness, my daughter was absent last night, but my son was over at the pub with me last night, along with 3 of my nephews. They were with their friends and stuff, but during the game, my son kept coming over and sitting on the arm of the chair that I was sitting on, and then when I moved, actually, because the chair I was sitting on, the cushion wasn't very comfortable, so I sat on another chair which didn't have any arms, and he came and sat on my knee, and he was like, he had his arm around me. All right, he'd had a couple of pints or a few pints, but it was nice that he was like paying me some attention while this magnificence was happening. And then when I ran around the pub with my shirt off, waving it around like Manuel Lanzini, he came up to me and he gave me a big hug. And he's like, "I'm glad it happened, Dad. I'm glad it happened." I was like, "Yeah, thanks, son." Because he does follow Chelsea. I've got to be honest, and I'm disappointed in both of my children. In fact, I'm not even sure they're my children.
Pete, I'm sorry about. I mean, that's horrible. It's not very nice to hear.
But then their mother was as well. Their mother is as well. So
Yeah. What do you
So,
do?
all right, Rob, I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I'm
That's
afraid,
fine.
my friend.
No problem. I'll wrap up. Not a problem.
I appreciate you allowing me. Eh?
I've got a little idea I'm going to throw at the people in the live chat and see if they want to join in with me.
All right, cool. I will be listening on YouTube, but I am going to have to go and have a shower and God knows what else, get changed. I've got to be in the pub in 25 minutes.
No worries. All right, buddy.
All
Look
right.
after yourself. Yeah, thanks for dropping on.
Thanks for inviting me in. And
no problem.
Come on, you ones.
Cheers, Budge.
See you soon. Take care.
Look after yourself, mate. There goes Budgie. Right, okay. You guys in the live chat. It's a little idea I had. It might be completely barking, but you might actually indulge me. Do you fancy, when we do the watch-alongs, I just sort of, it's a little bit of a sort of slant on that. Any of you guys fancy watching the highlights, and we can all just sort of put comments in the chat and just watch it? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. In the comments, I'm going to send you the link for the highlights package that BT Sport have got on YouTube. And if you want, we can sit here and we can watch it together and just sort of reminisce what happened last night. If no one's interested, then I won't bother. But if any of you guys fancy having a little reminisce about the events that unfolded at London Stadium last night, give me a hell yeah in the chat. And if nobody does, then I'll know I'm barking up the wrong tree. Troj likes the idea. He's given me maybe not a hell yeah, but I'll give it a go if I have to. And any of you other guys, I mean, Pete, if you fancy jumping in, Reese, yeah, he's in. So you've got to give me a hell yeah. That's it. Hell yeah is the key. Yeah, if it's got to be hell yeah. Okay. I've got 2 hell yeahs. Can we do any more? Can we do 3? Anyone for a third hell yeah? There's 14 if you're watching. I need a couple more hell yeahs before I'm going to sort of like crack on with this. So give us a hell yeah if you want to watch the highlights of Seville, which I've just put in the chat. Troj has given us a hell yeah. He's still hungover. Apache's hell yeah. Come on, we must have it right. That's what, 4 hell yeahs. It's 14 if you're watching. I want to get at least half of you to make it worthwhile. I want 7 hell yeahs. So at the minute, we've got Troj is a hell yeah. Reese is a hell yeah. Apache's a hell yeah. Come on, give us a few more. Elliot. I know you're a Norwich fan, but come on, join in with this. Give me a hell yeah, and we'll watch together the highlight package, which is in the comment section. I posted it a few comments back. Give me a hell yeah, and we'll sit down and watch it together, and we can fire back some comments and all the rest of it. Come on, this is a special moment in the history of West Ham United Football Club, and like I say, 41 years since the last time we played a knockout game in a European competition. Not hell yeah, not hello yeah. We'll go with that. I knew what you meant. That's fine. Any of you guys that have followed sort of American WWE wrestling in the late 90s will know where the hell yeah comes from. He's saying just do it. Now that's Nike or Nike. That's not Stone Cold Steve Austin, Reese. Come on. All right, okay. Right? Well, I'll tell you what. We got a few people that want to do this, so I'll tell you what. Yeah, cheers, Elliot. Right, okay. So I am going to turn my attention. So if you are ready, this is 9 minutes and 12 seconds, and I'm pressing play now. So we got the lights are down. The coming out of the tunnel. Referee's grabbing the ball, and to be fair to the Seville fans, they brought only 900 and their scarves were up. But look at that on the Billy Bond stand. Everybody holding up the sign and it says COYI. Absolutely magnificent. Brilliant. So we're in the 11th minute of the highlights package. Antonio, it looks like, has got the ball on the left-hand side. Benny plays him back into the penalty box, spins, feeds. Oh, and Lanzini with a shot. It's blocked. That was the first opportunity we had. I think it was played in by Lanzini. Defender did well to block it, but probably didn't know too much about it. I think this is the save. I think this might be the save at 26 minutes. Augustinson, yeah. En-Nesyri, what a save. That is, the more I see it, the more I just think that is sheer world class, honestly. That really is. And look, he's going to his left. It's played to his right, and he just gets a strong hand on it. Reaction save, honestly. That's world class. And that changed the game. Because as I say, if that goes in, it's 2-0 on aggregate and whole different bag of wax. Do you know what I mean? But we've got the ball here. So Souček's got the ball. He's drifting out to the right, plays it to Pablo Fornals. He centres it to Lanzini, who plays it across. Benny through. And here's Antonio. I didn't think he got a proper contact there. And then the follow-up from Souček. And they've managed to get it out of play there. It's still 0-0, 28th minute in. And when you just look at this back, you won't see it on this one because I thought it was a poor contact from Antonio. I'm like, why didn't he lash it? But the defender does really well, and he just gets enough on it to take the pace off of that. Otherwise, I think that's 1-0 right there. But honestly, I thought, wow, what had he done there? So anyway, Antonio out to the left. Benrahma, I think that is. Then Antonio, I think this is the goal. I'm sure this is the goal. So digs it out of his left, and there's Souček. And honestly, when that ball was played across, time for me just seemed to slow down. And then when the ball met Souček's head, it seemed to slow down even further. And the ball's just sort of, and I'm going, is it going to go in? And it does. And honestly, the place just exploded. And if anyone that's watching is joining in with this wasn't there, honestly, I can't emphasize just how noisy it was when the ball nestled in the back of the net. I mean, honestly, it. And if Russ Budden, who's missed very few games at London Stadium since it opened, says that he thinks, in his opinion, it surpassed the last game at the Bowling, I'm not going to argue with him. But it was good improvisation from Antonio. And as I say, it was his weaker foot. And he sort of like, he stands the ball up to the back stick. There's Thomas Souček. Rises like a Czech salmon. Goalkeeper was completely taken out of the picture. I mean, Duke reckons that the headband helped with the execution of the header. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But it's in the back of the net. Look at David Moyes there. He's absolutely cock a hoop. So we're coming up to the last knockings. This is the beginning of the second half. And Declan Rice down the left, charging through, finds Souček. Good save. And this is the bit that I like. Look at that. Declan Rice, soon as he turns around, he's going at the crowd. Come on, give us everything. Love that from Declan Rice. Really, that's a proper leader. There he is. Come on. So then we go to the 62nd minute. Still 1-0 here. And obviously, we know what the outcome is, but just, that was a good left foot strike by Lanzini. Another one, and two decent saves by the keeper, to be fair, from Lanzini. But offside flag went up. I think it was Antonio. But that was great work from Lanzini. Brilliant work. And if any of you guys are getting comments in the live chat, obviously I can't see that at present because I'm watching the footage. I'll come to that afterwards. But you get your comments in that, and I'll revisit it later. And if there's anything you want to bring up, I'll get it up on the screen. It's fine. So here comes a corner, 90th minute. There was very little in the way of additional time that was played on. I don't think they played any at the beginning of the first half, and only 1 minute at the end of the second half. Whatever. You know what I meant. So here we are now in the 98th minute. We've got a corner here. Pablo Fornals whips it in. Header, and mate. Yeah, that was a moment. I honestly thought that was in when it happened in real time. I literally jumped up, and then, it's like, yeah! Downward header from Craig Dawson, and coming onto the back stick. There's Thomas Souček, and he just into the side netting. If he'd been a couple of paces more to his right, he might have got it sooner. But if my aunt had what's name, she'd be my uncle. 110th minute. I think this is the goal, isn't it? So Fornals with the shot, saved by the goalkeeper, but he spills it, pushes it straight out. And Yarmolenko on his left foot says, yeah, cheers. And again, London Stadium just bang! Up the level goes, honestly. And the bubbles are going 10 to the dozen. David Moyes there doesn't look like he's celebrating like he did the first one. I think he's possibly a little bit like, hold on, I don't want to look like a complete cock here, and start sort of charging around like a lunatic, and then they get a goal and we're going to penalties and whatever. But Yarmolenko, honestly, what a hero he's been just these last 2 games with what he's gone through personally. And to get the 2 goals that he's got in the last 2 games. So there's the shot from Fornals. No problem there. Goalkeeper makes a good save, but unfortunately for him, doesn't catch it and pushes it out straight towards Yarmolenko, where Yarmolenko's standing. And I'm not being funny, on his left foot, he ain't going to miss that. He just isn't. And, there he is celebrating, his arms up. And this was the bit and if you watch the match vlog, I'm like, come on, don't let it slip now. 2 minutes added on, we've got 120, we've got our noses in front. There's the final whistle. And just watching this last little bit, you look at the celebrations. You've got Dec and Nobes. Nobes is on Dec's back. Yarmolenko's just like, yeah, I want to celebrate, but obviously he's got stuff going on. But look, Benrahma's over to him, Antonio's over to him, Vlasic is over to him. They're all Ryan Fredericks, David Martin, who wasn't even on the bench. Bubbles is ringing out. The team spirit here is just absolutely just unbelievable. And that's what I think is getting us to a large degree where we are. Look at Declan singing Bubbles there. Andre and Lucas, brilliant atmosphere at London Stadium. That really was something special. And like I say, on a personal level, I'm so glad that all 3 of my kids were there. Because a lot of games this season, one of them's been missing for one reason or another. Like one week it will be this one, and then the next week it'll be that one, and then the week after that it'll be that one. Whatever. Last night all 3 of them were there, which for me is super special. But the team spirit here on display, just the celebrations, I mean, fair enough. We've had to dig deep. We've had to work really hard. There's Trevor Brooking in the director's box. Must have brought back memories of 76 Eintracht Frankfurt, I'm sure. But, the team spirit gets you an awful lot further than you might believe in some circumstances. And I really do think, as far as we're concerned, and I love that just right at the end there, as the footage finishes, Dec and Moisey coming together. That was superb, absolutely superb. Okay, so whilst I've been sort of like rabbiting away, yeah, he does, yeah. But then, I do that. A ball will be crossed, and I'm just sitting there watching it, and I'll go. My missus will tell you, I'm like, and she's like, "You're not bloody playing." But yeah, and it was a great cross again with his left. I thought that was outstanding. We could have scored 4 more. Yeah, absolutely. Antonio, Rice, Lanzini, Souček. I mean, with Lanzini, it was like a double save. I'd say which one of the 2 was the better opportunity? I'd say probably the first. The second was, I think the second, it would have been, that would have been counted for offside, but there you go. At this point, I was tearing up. Reese, you don't even know the half of how I was feeling, mate, honestly. Most revealing quote of the day from Moyes: "The extra minutes only make you stronger." There you go. Anyway, I just wanted to do that. It was just a completely batshit idea that I had, which often happens. And I just thought, yeah, stuff it. We're going to go off script, just real quick, because as I say, these days don't come around very often. 41 years since the last time we played a game of knockout stage European football, not a preliminary round or a group stage. This is like the business end of a European tournament, and we haven't been here since we were knocked out by Dynamo Tbilisi in the 1981 European Cup Winners' Cup quarterfinal stage. And like I say, I don't take these matches for granted. Yes, I hope that the next one will come round quicker than 41 years, because it will be in a week or two, won't it? But once our participation in this season's competition is at its conclusion, hopefully it will be after we've lifted the trophy. But whatever happens, hopefully there's more to come, and the next one isn't 41 years later. At this stage of a European competition. And as I say, really lovely to be able to have my kids there, all three of my kids there. That was special. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for those of you that have stuck around just for that little bit of nostalgia. Please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And please don't forget to hit that bell icon for new alerts on new content. And as always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your support. Now, Duke's buggered off early because he's got a pub to run. I would normally ask him, what are we, Duke? So, what are we, Duke? We are fucking massive, is the response. And then I finish with, you know the rest. Come on, you Irons.